but I am excited about sharing with you just some of my thoughts on how things came together with KConnect. I remember like it was yesterday because it was a very well-organized effort that consisted of the Kent County Family and Children's Coordinating Council and their engagement of FSG, a prolific nonprofit strategy and evaluation firm, in an effort to support the development of a community-based collective impact effort. We've been talking quite a bit around the county about collective impact and how we could implement that here in Grand Rapids and Kent County. And so, quite often the big question is, who will represent or who will make up this backbone organization? And I remember, again, some of the players that were at the table. On the funding side, there was the Doug and Marie DeVos Foundation, there was the Kellogg Foundation, the Grand Rapids Community Foundation, Heart of West Michigan United Way, and the Steelcase Foundation. And I remember we were meeting in the community room of the Grand Rapids Community Foundation downtown. And there were about 21 leaders representing various organizations and constituencies across Kent County, from a cross section of organizations. And I remember getting the call and being told, "Hey, we want you to participate. And by the way, you're going to be representing the grassroots community." And my first response was, "Yeah, right. Like, that's impossible." And yet I was looking forward to the challenge of simply trying to be the best representative I could be in terms of doing good listening, but also providing input when the opportunity presented itself. But I also remember the intent. The intent of the gathering was to complement our community's initiatives and add value by building public awareness to the need to improve education and employment and well-being to children and families. And when I think about the time of working on that committee and with FSG, if I'm being totally transparent, there was a significant amount of tension in the room. I'm talking about it was thick enough to cut through with a sword. And it was because, there were a number of factions who were in that room who maybe historically had been playing nice with one another. And when I say nice, I mean West Michigan nice. But it was just a lot of tension because there were those who felt that maybe FSG shouldn't even have been brought to the table because, there were a number of folks or a number of organizations that could have been chosen to serve in the capacity of being a backbone. And so who needs FSG to come in if we have the talent within our own community? And so there was a lot of that. There was a lot of, I think, tension around personalities, because again, you're talking about community-based organizations and agencies and systems and structures that had been in community for a long time. And it's not always been, sunshine and rainbows. It's been difficulties because I think we all have our take on what works or what can work to bring better outcomes, especially for those who have been historically marginalized, in particular, those of the African-American and Latinx communities. And so I remember, again, a lot of tension, and there was ultimately this ongoing effort by those present to say, hey, you know what, we have to kind of get beyond this and let's really focus on the big picture. How can we create something that can help us be better? And I remember that, again, like it was yesterday, because we all kind of got around that, this idea of what can we do to create the best version of Kent County, the best version of Grand Rapids, and really set this thing up so that we could have better outcomes for children and families in our beloved community. And so I remember some of the things that were shared in terms of documentation. There were, in fact, documents, there were two sections, the common agenda, which included a shared understanding of the challenge, the opportunity, the approach, and a common vision. And then, of course, there was the roadmap, which outlined how to make this plan a reality, including recommended organization structure, an operating process, a communications plan, and an implementation timeline. And ultimately, what the backbone found was that while the common agenda and roadmap was a good starting point, it didn't have the logistical or operational information needed to run the backbone of the network. The backbone itself needed to develop everything from the ground up to determine best practices and how to move the work forward. And that's when, again, there was recognition that, you know what, let's start something from the ground up. We recognize all of the gifts, the skills, the talents, and the capacity that each organization at the table is bringing. And again, there were those who had submitted or had planned to submit an application or proposal as to why they should be the backbone. And these were existing organizations in our community. But I think we got to a point where we decided, nope, let's start from scratch. And that is how we got KConnect.